EA Sports. It's in the game.
There are a lot of great improvements to gameplay in NCAA Football 12. With the new collision-based tackling system, the days of players suctioning into position to make a tackle are over. Now, tackles don't begin until the defender makes contact with the ball carrier. This means that momentum will play a much greater factor in the success or failure of a tackle. You will also be able to lunge at the ball carrier if your defender is not close enough to wrap him up. This new collision system extends beyond just tackling. Catching and blocking are improved by this system too. Players will no longer warp or slide to get into position. Speaking of catches, all new dive catches have been added to allow the receiver the ability to stretch out and haul in the pass. Another huge improvement is zone coverage. Defenders will now play their zone based on receiver routes as opposed to always sticking to their assignment. You will see the defenders handing receivers off to another defender as the receiver runs through one zone to another. Defenders will take away short zones as well. So those of you that made your living off throwing to the flats will need to find a new offense.
What up, SimStandard and SimStandard supporters? You know who it is. If you don't, it's your boy Shake. I'm glad we all got a chance to watch that video. There's a couple topics that I want to touch on. The first thing I want y'all to realize is that in that entire video, they were using our terminologies. It's almost as if they had to prove it to us. So we're making a difference, guys. And when I say us, I don't mean just the SimStandard. I mean all you guys, all you commenters, all you guys that are on the forums, on all the boards that are out there, on different websites that are putting your 2 cents in. The SimStandard is not just 6 or 7 guys that do videos. The SimStandard is a group of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people that hold simulation to be the standard. What we expect to see is a football game. It's a whole army of us. The 6 or 7 of us that have a voice that do videos, yeah, we put videos up, but it's you guys that support us, you guys that write in the comments, that agree with some of the things that we're seeing out there. Even you guys that disagree, because your disagreements allow us to see your point of view, and then we could put it in our minds, we can triangulate some thoughts and actually make something out of it. So the SimStandard is not just 6 people, it's a whole army of people, all you guys that's out there supporting what we expect to see in these video games in the future. So always remember that we're all the SimStandard. I wish we could have a t-shirt. Maybe we start having some SimStandard tattoos. So they said the days of players suctioning in to make a tackle are over. That's one of our terminologies. That's something that is straight out of a book of verses phrases. They said, and if you also notice how they showcased a bunch of double hit tackles. It's almost like they're trying to say to us, hey guys, hey SimStandard, hey fans, hey guys that's been complaining about this, we've got double hit tackles now. They also said that momentum-based tackling. That's a terminology. That's some phrase that's coming straight out of a book of Apex is Free. Book of phrases of Apex is Free. Straight out of his book of terminologies. They said players will no longer warp or slide to get into position. Guys, these are our terminologies. I've done dozens of videos that talk about players warping into place to catch passes or to deflect passes or warping in to get tackles. These are our terminologies. I know some of you guys might think this is something that's global or a broad statements or phrases, but it's not. These are definitely some things that we've been saying on the internet, all over the message boards, all over the websites, and all over YouTube. These are the things that I don't like about the video so far. The blocking still scares me. There was definitely a clip in there where I saw a guy blocking someone and he slipped off the block and he made his way towards the ball carrier. That didn't look very realistic. I still would like to see more consecutive big hit tackles. You know, that'll be much more realistic. I know double hit tackles is something that we all want to see, but consecutive hit tackles was something that I saw in All Pro Football and 2K5, and I also seen it in Backbreaker. If a guy's getting hit and he's not down yet, somebody else can blast that ass. And it doesn't happen in EA Sports games, so I'm hoping that might be something else that they're implementing into the game that they haven't showed us yet, but we'll just have to see. I still notice players bouncing off and tumbleweeding to the floor, and that goes back to consecutive hit tackles. You know, the last player, the remaining player in the secondary should be able to stop the ball carrier, you know, even if he's falling to the ground. But that's something that's physics-based, and I don't think EA Sports really had enough time or really decided to put that into the game. I'm not exactly sure yet. I didn't see it in this clip. I also noticed bad cornerback one-on-one coverage. We all saw the clip. You know, it's going to come up again where the wide receiver is, or the defensive back is ahead of the wide receiver, and then he jumps and, you know, almost like he has this bolt of speed and just jumped to deflect the pass. The wide receiver still caught the ball. That's a very ugly animation or ugly setup. Doesn't make sense. I don't know why they can't get that right, but, you know, we'll just have to see. I've never actually seen a defensive back ahead of a wide receiver in real life unless the ball was overthrown, you know, or unless the guy was in double coverage or something. But one-on-one, it doesn't make any sense. So I hope they can tighten that up. I don't want to see dive catches that result in the end of a play while the guy's in the open field. I know they made a big deal about dive catches, but those two replays they showed, the guy was in the wide open field. I just did a video about that, talking about how guys in the wide open field, and, you know, that's something that's important, man. You don't just fall to the floor. I had a video, my recent video had a player that was in position to make an easy interception, and he did a Madden 92 dive to deflect the pass, and it's like, why would he even do that dive? Again, why would he even dive to catch that ball and fall on the ground? Players still seem to be skating, and, you know, that kind of stuff is something that traction is something that I seem to, the footwork and traction that I see in 2K. You know, I hate to keep comparing it to 2K, because 2K, All Pro Football 2K8 is not perfect, far from it, and neither is Backbreaker. But nonetheless, it does still seem like these players are moonwalking on the field. They showed the play where the defensive back is, or they're playing zone and the guy's like shifting across the field. It looks like he's able to cover he's covering the field like a wasp or a bumblebee. Like he's buzzing around, and he's buzzing around, and he looks like a fly, you know, like a dragonfly. I live in Orlando, Florida, and there's a lot of dragonflies out here, and they're able to buzz and jump to different positions like a UFO. That's how that guy looks like he's covering the field. And when you can slide like that and moonwalk across the field, it doesn't look very realistic. On top of that, the guy did a very slow motion interception, and that interception looks very robotic. It looks premeditated. It looks planned. At the speed that he was buzzing around, then he does that slow motion interception. It's not a huge problem. These are not game-breaking issues, but these are just things that make the game look unrealistic. And I'm not asking for the most realistic football. I'm asking for the most realistic football experience, but the thing is, it's still just a video game, and I like to keep that in mind. It's still just a video game, guys. It ain't really that important. But at the same time, I would hope that they can tighten that up before the game's released. They still have a couple of months. Also, I don't like the bolt of speed that the cornerbacks have at deflecting passes. You know, I saw the one scene where the guy deflects the pass, and the fact that he it looks like he was running at normal speed, and then he just shoots up there real fast, knocks the ball down. It's just like, it doesn't have a fluid motion, a human fluid motion. It just looks like he bolts up there. So even though they say there's no warping, you know, it still looks like these players are getting an extra jolt of speed, and I'm still hoping that they can fix that too.